Hi, it's Ingrid, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I will be showing you my fall TBR. We're in September, which means it's fall. That's exciting. I think fall is the perfect time to read, and I've picked out some books that I'm really excited to get to in the upcoming season. So obviously fall is September, October, November. I think I'm going to include December in this. Technically that's winter, I know that. But I have a lot of books I want to read. And I know that I'm most likely not going to be able to read them all this fall. So I'm hoping that maybe by the end of the year I will have them read. But I've been thinking out some books that I feel are really perfect for fall. I have some mysteries, thrillers, some fantasy. I did pick out some romances as well because I want to read them. I need a mix of things. So I think we're just going to get straight into it. I'm going to start with all of the mysteries and thrillers that I would like to read soon. I don't know a lot about these books, so if the synopses are vague or not good enough, I'm sorry, but obviously haven't read them yet, so I don't know. The first book I put on my fall TBR is a book I've started. I'm not very far into it, I'm like 30 pages in, so I'm putting it on my fall TBR. That is The Crow Trap by Anne Cleeves. This is the first book in the Vera Stanhope series. I watched the TV show, fell in love with the characters, so I would like to read the books. The show is following Detective Vera Stanhope and her team solving murders and crimes. So the books are obviously going to be the same thing because the TV show is based on the books. So far into this book, haven't seen any detective work, so I don't really know this book follows a girl, Rachel, I think, who finds her friend supposedly in a suicide situation. I'm assuming that's not what it is because it's a crime book, so why would it be that? I haven't gotten very far. But they're there to investigate, I guess. Not investigate, they're doing this environmental survey thingy. So they're researching this place to figure out something. So it seems like these three women who are doing this have their own secrets of they have different secrets. I don't know what to say. Rachel was the first to arrive and she finds an apparent suicide. And then another death occurs and a fourth woman enters the picture. And that is the unconventional detective inspector Vera Stanhope, who must piece together the truth from these women's tangled lives. I'm very excited. I love Vera as a character on TV. Don't know how she's going to be portrayed in this because I have a feeling it's going to be different. And I'm probably going to like the TV show more, but I'm still very interested. Also, this has nothing to do with the actual book, but I like the spine of this. And I know that the whole series matches up. Different colors, of course, but I think they look so good next to each other. So I'm hoping to finish this one this fall, and hopefully buy the next in the series next year. That was a bad explanation, I know, but I don't know how to talk about books. The next book on my fall TBR is also a crime story about a detective. That is The Mystery of the Blue Train by Agatha Christie. This follows Hercule Poirot, a private detective who solves crimes. Usually he is being called out by the person who either dies or the family of the person who dies, and then he solves his little crimes much better than any police could ever do. He has this special ability to see things that other people don't see. This is not like a superhero ability, that's not what I'm saying, but he's really smart and he sees things from a different perspective, which helps him solve these crimes. He usually has his friend Hastings with him. Most of the stories are told through his POV. The last book I read wasn't, so I don't know what happens there, but I'm thinking most of them are. So I don't know exactly what this one is about. So in this one, a passenger, is it a train? It's a train. Is found murdered on the train, and the wealthy young woman, estranged from her husband and en route to her lover, has been strangled. And the Heart of Fire, the famous ruby that was in her possession, is missing. I feel like I've seen that, but I can't remember it being on a train. whatever. I love Poirot, I love Agatha Christie's writing. I'm very excited to get to this. I think this is the 6th book. I've read 4 of these books in this series. 5th book, couldn't find it, so I bought the 6th and 7th. I'm very excited. That's all I have to say. The last time I was at the biggest bookstore in Norway is in Oslo. Don't get to go there very often, but I went to a Morgan Wallen concert, so I went to that bookstore. Before that, I was looking for Poirot books. While looking at that, I also saw this, Murder at the Bookstore by Sue Minks, and first of all, cover is gorgeous. This one is about an author. It just looked very interesting. Jen Dawson is a mystery writer, coffee lover, and amateur detective. She's a crime writer who returns to her small hometown with a best-selling book behind her and the bad case of writer's block. Camera's flashing. Finding sanctuary in the local bookstore with an endless supply of coffee, Jen waits impatiently for inspiration to strike. But when the owner of the bookstore dies in mysterious circumstances, Jen has a real-life murder to solve. The stakes are suddenly higher when evidence places Jen at the scene of the crime, and the reading of the will names her as the new owner of the bookstore. Can she crack the case and clear her name before the killer strikes again? And it says on the back, fans of Agatha Christie, Lauren Elliott and Ellery Adams will be hooked from the very first page. And I'm a fan of Agatha Christie, so I'm very excited for this. The cover is gorgeous. Can't wait to put it on my shelf. I need to charge my battery. We're gonna charge and then we'll be back. I'm back. Camera died. It's a lot later now, so it's darker outside. So if the lighting changed, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best. We're going to continue. Good Girl, Bad Blood, the second book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I read the first one, reread the first one, and absolutely loved it. So now I want to continue the series. In this one, I think Pip is done with her investigating. She has this podcast, I think, about her case. But then one day someone she knows goes missing, so she has to go back to investigating. I think that's it. Because the police can't do anything about it, and if they won't do it, then she's gonna do it. I'm very excited, really enjoy this. If you haven't read this series, I highly recommend it. It's a YA series about a girl, Pip, who wants to solve this unsolved murder case. And this is the second book. The next one I want to read is a very popular series that I've had my eye on for a while. I bought the first 2 books very recently, I think. I bought them this year, I know that for sure. That is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I read the Inheritance Games trilogy by her, and I really enjoyed that. I think her writing is really good. So now I want to continue with the rest of her series, and I've heard this one is supposed to be like a YA Criminal Minds, and I love Criminal Minds. It's one of my favorite shows. I've watched all of the Criminal Minds shows, love them all. So it's going to be fun to read something about that. All of these characters have some kind of ability, I guess, that it helps them profile criminals. So they get, like, the FBI reached out to them, want their help, and they're working solving cold cases, I think. Yes, I'm very excited for this one. It's also very short, so I think it's gonna be like just a fun, easy read. Very excited. I would like to read the next book in this series as well, but I'm only putting 1 book from each series on my TBR. Nothing More to Tell by Karen Ann McManus. I've read most of her books. She just came out with a new one. I need to buy that, and then one other that I don't have, but this is the last one by her that I own. I don't really know what this one is about. Oh. 4 years ago, Bryn left St. Ambrose School following the shocking murder of her favorite teacher. The case was never solved, but she's sure that 3 kids who found Mr. Larkin's body know more than they're telling, especially her ex-best friend Trip Talbot. He's definitely hiding something. When Bryn gets an internship working on a popular true crime show, she decides to investigate what really happened that day in the woods, but the further she dives into the past, the more secrets she finds. Seems interesting. I really enjoy her writing. Some of her books I've really loved, some I haven't, but I think it's fun anyways, and I like a YA mystery. The Housemaid is Watching. I'm honestly not that excited for this. It's the 3rd book in the Housemaid series by Frida McFadden. I think Frida's writing is amazing and I really love it. But the first 2 books in the Housemaid series angered me so much, like I get so frustrated. that I can't enjoy the book. So I don't know how I feel about this one. I want to read it because I want to finish the series. Like, I have one book left, so I kind of have to. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna love it. But at the same time, this is very different from the others. This is years later when she has her own family and all of that. I don't want to go too much into what it's actually about. I just know that it's different. So I am excited to read it. The anger I feel while reading some of these characters' actions just is too much for me. But Freedom McFadden's writing is amazing and it's so fast-paced. And I can't not read it. Because I think the writing is so good, just the stories frustrate me. The Man Who Died Twice by Richard Osman. I read the first book in this series, The Thursday Murder Club, in 2022, I believe. I think I rated it 3 stars. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like something amazing, but I still had a fun time. And I want to continue the series. I've had this for a while. Like, now there's 2 more books after this that have come out, so I've had it for a while. And I really want to continue the series, and now that they're making an adaptation of it, David Tennant is in it. Just putting that out there. David Tennant playing in the Thursday Murder Club adaptation, and I'm very excited to watch it. But I want to continue the series as well. So this one, don't really know much about. I know the main character receives a letter, because I read like some of this in the Thursday Murder Club, the end of that book. I don't know if it was in the epilogue or if it was a chapter of this, I don't remember. But the main girl, Elizabeth, got a letter from someone, and he's being hunted and needs her help, but they start piling up, and Elizabeth enlists the rest of the Thursday Murder Club to catch a killer. The last thing it says on the back is, can the Thursday Murder Club find the killer and the diamonds before the killer finds them? I'm excited. I'm hoping to read this one pretty soon. The last of my mysteries are Sherlock Holmes. I think I got this for Christmas 2022, and this is the complete Sherlock Holmes collection. I've read the first story. I read that in 11th grade. How long is that ago? 4 years? I don't know. I can't do math. But I read A Study in Scarlet, the first Sherlock Holmes book, and I enjoyed it. So I have this, and I would like to read a few of the stories, so I'm hoping to get through maybe 2 or 3 this fall, because this is gorgeous, and I just want to read it. Sherlock Holmes. Everyone knows Sherlock Holmes, don't they? He's a private detective who usually works close with the Scotland Yard. Him and Watson solves these murders. We have guests. He's knocking on our door. I need to go. I don't know if I'm gonna go yet. Maybe I'll just continue. I don't care. I'm going to continue with at least a few of the books. I'm scared. Did they see my camera? Hopefully not. We're gonna move on to fantasies. I have a few. First one I have is actually also on my September TBR, so I feel like I'm gonna get through this one. Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. Leigh Bardugo is my favorite author. The Grishaverse is very dear to me. This is the last book in the Grishaverse. Second book in the King of Scars duology. I don't really know what to say without spoiling, so I can't really tell you what this is about. But I can say that the first book in this duology follows Nikolai, Soya, and Nina doing things. I don't know how this is gonna go, but there's something happened at the end of King of Scars that I'm very intrigued to see how that turns out, or what happens in this one. I don't want to know too much, so I'm just gonna move on. Along with that, I would like to read The Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. I feel like, I don't know how to explain this. This is like an extra thing in the Grishaverse. This is stories from the different countries. So it says here that it's inspired by myth, folklore, and fairy tale. I feel like this is, like, we have our fairy tales. I think this is supposed to be like the fairy tales of the Grishaverse. So there's stories from the different countries. There's one Femini story, 3 Ravkan stories, 1 Courage story, and 1 Fjordan story. So I'm excited to get to that as well. Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. This is about an orc who like puts all of the fighting things away, wants to start a coffee shop, but no one really knows what coffee is. And then she is willing to forget about her enemies. They're not willing to forget about her. I don't really know what else to say. The cover is gorgeous. I know Claudia Jessie loved it. Like, I didn't think I was ever gonna buy this. I wanted it because of the cover, but then I don't really want to read about an orc. But then Claudia Jessie talked about it in an interview, and now I want to read it. It's also on my September TBR, so I'm gonna have to get to it soon. A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas, the third book in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. I read A Court of Mist and Fury earlier this year. Absolutely loved it. So why I haven't continued it, don't know. It's huge, might be part of the reason, but I would like to finish this series this year. So I'm hoping to read at least this one this fall, and I know that when I read this one I'm going to read the next one as well, because it's so short. Court of Silver Flames I'm a little more scared of, so I don't know how that's going to go. But this one, I can't tell you about this book specifically because it is part of a series and that's going to spoil. But in the first book we meet Feyre, who's this human girl who does something, so she gets taken into the fairy world and has to live there. Things happen. Can't really tell you anything without spoiling, so I'm gonna move on because I don't want to ruin the experience for anyone. This next one I'm really excited for. I feel like it's really giving off the perfect fall vibe. That is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I pre-ordered this and then I got it and I'm very excited. I don't really know what it's about. Lucia uses scraps of magic to get through her days of endless toil, but when her scheming mistress discovers her scullion is hiding a talent for little miracles, she demands Lucia use those gifts to win over the royal court. I think it's like an historical fantasy. At first when this was announced I didn't think I was gonna like enjoy it, but then Leigh Bardugo posted a little excerpt of her reading the book on Instagram and I listened to that and I was very interested, so I'm excited to get to this. And I have the perfect place for it on my shelf, so I just need to read it so I can put it there, because right now it's on my TBR. But I'm very excited for this. I don't usually get hardbacks, because this was exclusive edition, I don't know, limited edition, exclusive something, so I had to. Next one, terrifying. Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. Second book in this little series. I think it's gonna be a 5-book series, and the third one is coming out in January. And I really loved Fourth Wing, the first one. That was about this girl who is in this academy. I'm scared, there's people outside. I'm gonna wait. Okay, they left. The angle might have changed because I put the camera down. We're gonna continue. In Fourth Wing we meet Violet, who is in this academy. She really wants to be a scribe, but her mom is like pushing her into the writer's quadrant, where she learns how to be a dragon rider. There's different tests to like get through, and they're in this school and she meets Satan. Things happen. I don't really know what to say without spoiling. Something happened at the end of that book that I'm thinking leads into this one, and I really love the first book, so I'm excited for this, but it's huge and I haven't seen the best reviews. But then also people love to hate on things that are popular, so it's gonna be badly reviewed anyways. So it could be like a masterpiece. I don't think so, but it could be, because if someone loves it, people are gonna hate on it, so maybe I should just see for myself. But it's huge and it's terrifying. And the font is big as no small as well, so it's like a lot in here. But I am excited and I want to read it before the third book comes out, so I want to read it this year. Next book, extremely excited. The Hunger Games Mockingjay. I just finished Catching Fire last night, 2 AM, and I need to get into this next book, because what the fuck was that? The ending? Shocking. And I need to know why, what's going on. Hoping to see that in this one. This series, The Hunger Games, everyone knows it. If you don't, seriously, where have you been? I'm extremely late to the game, like it should have been done ages ago. But unfortunately, I hadn't. Well, fortunately for me, because I can enjoy it now. But in The Hunger Games, 2 people from each district get put into this game where they basically have to fight for their life. You either die or kill someone, and that's really the point. I'm very excited for that next one. I need to know what happened. Reckless by Lauren Roberts, the second book in the Powerless trilogy. I wasn't the biggest fan of Powerless, didn't really enjoy it, gave it 3 stars, but I did like the relationship between Kai and Peyton, all of their interactions. It was really fun. Powerful, the novella, absolutely loved. This one, I don't know. I think the end of Powerless really wanted me to continue, made me want to continue, because most of the book I was bored. The trials and all of that, didn't really enjoy. But then the ending, something happened. Obviously it's a fantasy series, that's all. That's what I'm saying about all of them. At the end something happens that makes me want to read the next book, obviously. But in this one, I don't really know, I can't say anything about this book either without spoiling the first one. But in this little world, there's elites and there are ordinaries. Ordinaries have to die because the elites believe that they are infecting people. So Kai is the prince. He's an elite, obviously. Peyton is an ordinary, pretending to be an elite, and has to survive in that world, and there's trials and a lot going on, and I can't really say anything else without spoiling. Percy Jackson, The Titan's Curse. This is the 3rd book in the Percy Jackson series. I never read this when I was younger, so this is my first time getting through them. Finding them in store, extremely difficult. Why? Don't know. But I don't really know what this book is about, but the series follows Percy Jackson, who's a demigod, finds that out, has to go on different adventures. In this one, a powerful goddess has gone missing. The Greek gods are on the brink of war with the Titans, and there's the minor threat of a mystery beast that could destroy Mount Olympus forever. This time, Percy's going to need help, and he's found 2 powerful demigods for the job. There's just a small problem of the prophecy. The one that has predicted not all of them will survive. But when you're the son of a Greek god, it happens, right? I'm excited. I love Percy Jackson. I think they're written so perfectly for just a fun little quick read. And it's very short, actually. Page count, can we get that? It's less than 300 pages. So that's perfect. This one is intimidating. Blood of Elves by this guy, I don't know how to say his name. This is about The Witcher. I've watched the show on Netflix, and that made me want to read the books. So I've read The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny, which is collections of short stories. This one is the first like actual full novel, and I am excited for this, and I love The Witcher, and I enjoyed those first 2 books. The thing that scares me is that the first chapter is 50 pages long, and it's not the end of the world, I know that, but I can't do that long chapters. 50 pages. 1 chapter. How's that gonna motivate me to get through this book? I love Geralt. I love the stories. I love the Netflix show, and I'm excited to read the stories. But I can't do that long chapters. But I need to get through this. So I don't even know what to say about the book. Geralt is a witcher, basically a monster slayer. He kills monsters for a living, but he also has to protect this girl. That's all I'm gonna say, and we're gonna move on. The Atlas Paradox. This is the 2nd book in the Atlas series by Oliver Blake. It's kind of like a dark academia series. I don't know what happens in this one. But in the first book, 6 people gets put into this program, kind of. They have to just research and keep the library safe. And then by the end of it, 5 of them is gonna get a place in... Yeah, I don't know. Couldn't tell you. This is the 2nd book and I want to read it. Was that a great overview of the book? I don't know how to talk about the books. I also have the Chronicles of Narnia. I don't know how many of them I'm going to get through, but I want to at least start the series. This fall, there's 7 books. I have them. I'm excited. I love the Narnia movies. I want to read the books. I don't know what to tell you. I'm so bad at this. I have like a big romance pile over there, but I'm going to talk about this book first. Ghost of Honolulu by Mark Harmon and Leon Carroll Jr. This is an historical fiction novel written by Mark Harmon and Leon Carroll Jr. If you didn't know, Mark Harmon is an actor. He plays Special Agent Leroy Jethro Gibbs on NCIS. Him and Leon Carroll Jr., who used to be a special agent in NCIS. He's also working on the show to make sure that there's some accuracy to what they're doing. So he's a retired NCIS agent. They got together to write this book about a Japanese spy, a Japanese-American spy hunter, and the untold story of Pearl Harbor. Don't really know more than that, but I'm very excited. It's short, and it's written by the actor of one of my favorite characters of all time. So I'm excited. Now, we're gonna move over to the romance. There's a mess. Everything's a mess. But I have a few books left to talk about. The first one, possibly one of the most talked about books at the moment, Daydream by Hannah Grace. New release, third book in the... what's it called? There's a series. Icebreaker, Wildfire, this one, Maple Hills. This is Henry's book, follows him and Hallie. I don't really know what it's about. He's the captain of the hockey team, and he's in a class with his least favorite professor. He meets Hallie. She's offering to help Henry pass his class, and he offers to help make college life a little more inspiring. Just the thing she needs as an aspiring novelist. I'm excited for this. That's all I have to say. I don't know what to say. Like, I'm bad at this. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I love Ali Hazelwood. This is her first paranormal romance. It follows a werewolf and a vampire. I think she's like promised out to this man. She's used to living among the humans, but now she's been called upon to uphold an historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares. They have to get married, I think. There's a marriage of convenience. She has her own reasons to go through with it, other than the politics and alliances. She's willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, even if it means a life alone in weird territory. I'm not that excited, but I love Ali Hazelwood, so I'm probably gonna love it. I'm just intimidated because what the fuck is this? Why am I reading about a vampire? Why am I reading about werewolves? Don't know. Did I think I would ever read that? No. But it's Ali Hazelwood, so I'm gonna give it a chance. This next one is book number 3 in a series that I'm really enjoying. Powerless by Alice Silver, the third book in the Chestnut Springs series. The second book so far is my favorite. This one follows Sloane and Jasper. Jasper is a hockey player and also like the best friend of the Eaton brothers. Sloane is the Eaton family's cousin, and they're childhood friends. She has had a crush on him, I think. Nothing has ever happened, but now he starts looking at her like more than just a friend. But she's not having it because he has to prove himself, and that's about it. But I think he helps her. No, yes? He helps her when her life falls apart. So when his world comes crashing down, she's there to return the favor. I'm very excited. It's like a small town romance. Loving it. I'm excited. Next up, more of kind of the same thing. Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage, the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. I loved the first one, Done and Dusted. In this one, don't really know what's going on. It's about Ada. Oh, I know what it is. She's going to design for a new project at Rebel Blue Ranch. She meets Weston at a bar. Things happen. They meet again the next day, realize they're working together. Well, she's working for him to design this new little project. It's too bad she wants absolutely nothing to do with him outside of work. Can they make it through this project without giving in to their intense chemistry? Or will they put their dreams on the line for a chance at love? Very excited. I loved the first one. I think it's one of my favorite romance books ever. This is short. It's just over 200 pages. No, 300. Exactly like 300 pages. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be very easy for me to get to that one. These next ones, I wasn't really planning on reading yet. Then I picked this one on my September TBR. 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. This one is about this guy and this girl fall in love, I think, best friends forever. One day he gets sent back to Norway, because that's where he's from. Her world falls apart. 2 years later he's back, but he's not the person she remembers. It's supposed to be extremely sad. And I've been planning on reading this one in a video with this one, if you had been with me. So if I'm reading that one, I'm gonna have to read this one. I don't know what this one's about. I don't want to know what it's about. I'm not gonna check. I'm not gonna tell you about it because I don't know. But I was a little disappointed that I had to read that now, until I watched this one YouTube video and the girl said it's fall, it's perfect time for side books, and I was like, wait, maybe you're right. So now I'm a little bit excited, just a little. Don't really want to, but we have to. Next up, I have some dark romances. I have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is like loosely based on Peter Pan. This whole series, each book is based on a fairy tale. It's not a retelling, but it's inspired by the fairy tales. In this one, I don't know what's going on, but James wants to destroy his enemy, Peter. Wendy is Peter's 20-year-old daughter. She shows up in James's bar. He sees that as a way to take advantage of that situation and use her for revenge. And then he starts to see Wendy as more than just a pawn in his game. It's a bad explanation, but I don't really know. Next one, Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. I've heard a lot of good things about this. It's about 2 serial killers who fall in love. It's like a rom-com, but make it dark. So I'm excited. I don't know. They're both serial killers, and I think there's some kind of competition or something. I don't know. An Offer from a Gentleman is the 3rd book in the Bridgerton series. Each book follows one of the Bridgerton siblings as they go along in their lives, basically finding their love, getting married. It's like a historical Regency era thing, and they go to balls, and I don't know what to say, but I love it. Is this the last book? I think this is the last book. Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. I finished Magnolia Parks on New Year's Eve. Did I continue the series? No, I did not. I want to though. This one follows Daisy, Christian, and Julian. Don't know what's going on in this one. No guns at the dinner table. All 20-year-old Daisy Hates has ever wanted is a normal life. But as a sister of London's most notorious gang lord, she knows better than most that in this life everything comes at a price. And that's all it says on the back, so don't know what to expect. I know that some people really love Magnolia, some people really love Daisy. I enjoyed the Magnolia Parks book. Don't know how I'm going to feel about this one, but I'm excited to figure it out. I'm a little scared though, because Magnolia Parks took me a million years to get through it. And it messed with my mental health. So I don't know how this is going to go. We're hoping for the best, but that's all of the books on my fall TBR. It's a lot of books. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but hopefully I'm gonna read most of them this fall. But that's it for now. If you have read any of them, I would love to hear your thoughts and maybe motivate me to actually read them. But that's it for now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace out, lovers.